live today talking about confidence. And the title of this live is actually how to feel confident before you walk into that room. And this is so that you're not second guessing, so that you're fully present. You've got peace of mind. You're feeling fully confident in how you show up. So you can just focus on the task at hand. And we're going to be talking about the role that your style and your clothing plays in that. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lucy Owens. I'm personal stylist and the founder of Style Rises. And I partner with high-performing women to help them understand how they can use personal style to help them accelerate their confidence, their visibility, and their executive presence, and particularly as that relates to their professional life and their career, but also about how they're showing up in their personal life, right? Everything, flows through into those areas of life as well. If you've got questions that come up during the session that are related to this topic, put those in the comments and I will address those at the end. And if you want to see how you can put into action some of the strategies and the tactics that I'm going to be talking about today related to this topic around confidence, particularly as a professional woman in the workplace, which is what I specialize in when it comes to style, then send me a direct message on LinkedIn and let's have a conversation. So as a stylist, I am supporting women with their visual image, and you might just think that is about clothing. And it's true, I absolutely do help, women with their wardrobes, looking at the clothing pieces that they've got at the moment. We are putting together new outfits and we're adding pieces into the wardrobe too. But women don't hire me for new clothes. Yes, it's one of the, the outcomes that they will have some new items and some new outfits, but they don't come to me and hire me for new clothes. Women come to me and hire me for confidence. They want to feel more confident. And one of the things that I often will hear from women is they've done all this work around their skill set, their capabilities. They are confident in their skills and the value that they can add to an organization. They might have done the MBA or the other professional development parts to add that value to their role. But the missing piece that's holding them back is having that visual presence and that peace of mind and that confidence about how they're presenting themselves and how they are showing up. That's why I'm here talking about this today. And the area of study that's been done around confidence, the effect that our clothing have on confidence, right? There has been consistent studies done over a pretty long period of time that show there is a really positive effect that happens on both our mindset and our mood when we put on an outfit that makes us feel good. There is a whole, term around this around, we call this in clothes cognition, because it really has an impact, a positive impact on our mindset. Although the other, end of the scale is that if we don't put on an outfit that we feel good on, or we don't see reflected back at us, something that makes us feel good about ourselves, something that helps to increase our self-perception in a positive way, then that can also have a negative effect on us. And so wearing an outfit that supports you, that is when confidence is going to come much easier to you. Michelle, I'm just seeing you pop up in the comments, and it's so great. It's so great to see you here as well. And this is a topic that you also talk about, Michelle, I know as well, around confidence. And, the confidence, it's so much easier to come to us and it's so much easier for us to display that confidence when we're putting on something in the morning that is making us feel good about ourselves. On top of that, the psychology of style tells us that dressing our best, it's not just about how you look. It's that positive mental state. And you can create that. You can create that positive mental state by what you choose to wear. It has been proven time and time again. And there's this really great positive feedback loop that happens. I've seen it so many times. It happens when we choose to create that positive mental state through our clothing. When we're putting on something you feel good in, and you feel good in it, and you look good, and you look in the mirror, you will actually grow in terms of, you can grow in terms of how confident you feel, and then you are so much more likely to demonstrate behaviors of someone who's confident. And that's pretty powerful. What else gives you the opportunity to instantly adjust, your emotional state and your mental state like clothing can? How powerful is that? However, what happens is women can leave this to chance. And I want to share with you how to take advantage of this, like leverage the power of clothing to help accelerate your confidence. Michelle, you've just mentioned the visual image is so important to the feeling of confidence. Yes, you've nailed it. It's exactly what we've just been talking about. And one conversation that I had recently that's just that's come to mind that I want to share with you was I was having a conversation with a lady who was struggling with her confidence, particularly before she was going into important meetings. She had to do quite a lot of presentations. She, was presenting to the board and a whole host of other people. And one of the things that she was feeling was there was a disconnect. So she was, showing up feeling very, very confident in what she had to sell, or what she was talking about, but there was this disconnect that she wasn't feeling that same level of confidence when she walked into the room, and that was what she wanted to work on. And when I asked her, what's the sort of preparation that you do before an important meeting? Do you prepare slides? Do you practice those slides? Do you have written notes, or are you just going through things in your head, but spending time doing that? And we spoke through all of that. And indeed she did. She had, a whole range of preparation that she would do before she had one of these important meetings and presentations. And I asked her the same question in relation to her style and clothing. I said, okay, well, what is the preparation that you're doing as it relates to how you're showing up visually? Like, what's the preparation? And there was a pause, because she realized that she wasn't doing the same level of preparation, she wasn't doing any level of preparation as it related to this before she was stepping into that meeting. She was grabbing the meeting blazer, or I think she might have had two of those, which was a fallback option, which was fine. It was okay, in her words. Was it great? Was it really enhancing her confidence and helping her step into that room as she wanted to and own that room? That was what she wanted to do. She wanted to own the room. That wasn't happening. So you can comment below or just reflect on this question. What's your approach before an important meeting? Do you plan ahead, right, when it comes to your outfit and what you're going to wear, or do you wing it and just, choose something on the morning? So, the challenge that we're talking around having confidence, and that can often be delivered to women in the workplace in the form of feedback, or you need more confidence, and often that can be very vague. When it comes to style and what your style can do from a confidence perspective, I believe that it is about setting yourself up in the right way. It's about taking the actions beforehand so that you can walk into that room and own it. And like I said to this lady last week, you prepare your slides, you prepare your talking points, you prepare your strategy for going into that really important meeting where you're selling yourself. But the first way you're selling yourself, particularly to those board members who maybe they know who you are, but they don't have a really good understanding, or they don't know you at a really good level, they are the first selling point that you've got, and what they're looking at and what they're taking into account is the way that you're showing up. And part of it is what you're wearing. And it's the mindset that you can get into before that meeting around what you wear. Now, confidence, I don't believe it's about having absolutely no self-doubt either. I think for most of us, we're all going to have different self-doubts and things that come up. I don't think that, we're going to remove those entirely. But clothing that makes you stand taller, that removes the distractions, particularly as you grow, into new levels in your career, new levels in your business, it's there to grow with you. Right? It's there to grow with you. And so you don't need to comment around this, but think about this for yourself. Think about the last important meeting or presentation. Perhaps you had to show up online. Perhaps you did have to go in person into a meeting. Perhaps you might have been called to speak on a panel, as many of my clients do. Think about, that last important meeting or time when you had to be visible, and there was some, it's a bit of a high stakes moment. And just think about, as I mentioned, you don't have to comment on this, but I want you to take into account, did your outfit support you, or did your outfit distract you? Just something that I want you to think about. Michelle, I love this, Lucy, having that intentional preparation around your wardrobe. Absolutely. Intentional preparation is the key. Absolutely the key. And we want to have that preparation, because I just know from a personal level, when I have left outfits to the morning, I've just created an unnecessary moment of stress in my morning, versus preparing it all the night before, thinking about what's going to be the best outfit to support and communicate what I want to say, and getting up in the morning, everything's ready, everything's there, and just putting it on and knowing that's going to support me throughout my day. Huge difference. You might have seen today that I spoke, I did a post today where I was speaking about characters, like TV characters in some well-known TV series. And I mentioned costume designers who in a way were sort of like the original stylists, right? They know that they instinctively and intimately know what clothing communicates about someone. And just think about when you see a character on TV, and just like we do in real life, the first impression, the clothing, all of that tells us so much about who that character is, what they stand for, what's their position in life, what their job is. There's so much that we take. And one of the things that I was talking about, particularly as it related to TV characters who were professional women, in these series, was how their clothing changes, how we see the evolution of the character over the TV series, but then how we see the evolution of their clothing as well. And so this is where, most the women that I work with who are professional women are really strategic in their work, but they're reactive in their wardrobe. And they're often evolving their careers and evolving their professional development in many ways, but not putting that same level of detail and attention into their style. And, if you have ever walked into a meeting and you've realized that you didn't feel quite right in what you're wearing, you just feel unsettled and you don't feel on top of your game, because when you're uncertain about this, part of your energy will go to that. It's a distraction. Instead of allowing all your focus and your energy to go on the outward, right? And on what you're there to do. Got another client that's a conversation that has come into my mind that I want to share with you around this. Let's call this lady Anna for the purposes of this live. I remember a conversation I had with her where she said Anna was also someone who had to have a lot of meetings and presentations and so forth. She was involved in many different things. And she shared with me that she didn't, she had a few, again, like sort of fallback outfits. And she would just choose one of those. And when she got into the room, even though she didn't feel good in what she was wearing, she said, I just put it to the back of my mind. I just put it to the back of my mind and I just, I'm just on, I just do it. And I asked her, well, that's a strategy. Well, that's a strategy, but you can definitely try and put it to the back of your mind. You have to, in a way, put it to the back of your mind so that you can actually present and be there to do what you want to do. And I said, but is that really allowing your best self, your most confident self, to shine through in that moment? Because that's what it's about. Like, your clothing has a really powerful way and a really, as I said to you, it instantly changes that mental state, instantly can boost and elevate your self-confidence. So why aren't you using that? And over the course of the program, we worked through all the different aspects of her style and image together, and we did get some new outfits. We also used some pieces that she already had, but we did go and get some new clothing that really honored where she was now. She was on a big weight journey. She was in the middle of a big weight journey. She'd already lost a lot of weight. She still had a lot of weight that she wanted to lose, but we could absolutely get some pieces right now that made her feel that she didn't have to put how she showed up to the back of her mind when she walked into that room. She stood in that room taller. She knew who she was, and there was a part of her that she had been holding back. It was a part of her personality that she had sort of been dimming, that we brought out in a way that honored her and also, worked for the environment that she was in. And the energy and the confidence, right? It just naturally came through, and it was far more elevated than what it was. And then her energy and her focus was properly directed to where it needed to go to. There was this additional boost of self-esteem and confidence. She looked in the mirror and she actually saw someone who was wearing an outfit that she liked after many, many years, right? That she felt good in. And so, as I mentioned earlier, there's this feedback loop. You put on something that you're wearing that feels good. You look back at you see this reflected back at you. You have this, improvement in your self-perception, and it extends into your day. And there's a different energy, and you might even receive a compliment during the day, or it just goes around and around. Just going to jump across. Anna, I am just reading your comment. Oh, you're a fellow image consultant. It's lovely to see you here. Yes, Anna, you've summed that up really well. So women who they're successful at what they do, but they find that their image is not what is helping them succeed. Absolutely. And this can be something that gives you an edge. It gives you something that is just naturally and authentically can put you ahead of the game, where perhaps you sort of had been holding you back before. So decide in advance what you are going to wear to any important meeting, so that you do walk in and you are confident, you are not second guessing, you're not having a distraction, or you're not having to say to yourself, I'm just going to try and put it to the back of my mind. You will not show up as your best self in that case. So decide in advance. And perhaps you want to think about, as you're choosing your outfit, think about one word that describes how you want to feel walking into that room, and what outfit is going to help you. Sometimes I find it's easy when we can just somehow narrow and condense things down. And I think words can really help us with that. I work with clients when we define their style, on some words around it to give definition to it. And I think this can be also really helpful to help you decide about how do you want to feel, and what outfit, what do you currently have that is going to enable you to create that feeling. But definitely, you want to decide in advance what you are wearing before you're walking into those high stakes meetings, or really any room. If anyone wants to share a word, feel free to do so. But otherwise, that's an exercise, or just that's a technique that I really encourage you to do. And think about removing distractions. And distractions are often in clothing where you're tugging or you're pulling, or something's not sitting right. And again, all of that it pulls your focus, and suddenly perhaps you lose your train of thought, or suddenly a part of your concentration goes somewhere else where you don't want it to go. And so as you're deciding in advance about your outfit, try the outfit on so that you can make sure that there's nothing in that that would be a distraction for you. You know, when you sit down, when you stand up, does it feel comfortable? You know, it's not riding up anywhere. As I said, that the fabric's comfortable for you, and you know, you're not fiddling around with your clothing, because as well as being a distraction for you, that is going to be a distraction for other people as well. So really, really goes both ways. One of the other things that I love about, you know, being prepared for important meetings and making sure we're showing up as fully confident as we can be is building, or, you know, having in your wardrobe a couple of room ready outfits, or, you know, I like to also call these go-to confidence outfits. So when something important does come up, you're not creating from scratch, right? You've got a couple, at least one, but ideally a couple of outfits that you can pull out from the wardrobe and you know you feel amazing in. And, you know, because a lot of my clients will be doing panel speaking, or, you know, they'll be going and speaking or presenting at events or so forth. You know, we have lookbooks with specific outfits just around, you know, those really highly visible moments. And, you know, you can do the same, like create, you know, a couple of those go-to room ready outfits that you can, you know, fall back on in a way. But these are outfits that are confidence building. They're not fall back because you don't have any other options and that's the best option that you've got. No, these are options that help you walk into that room and own it. So, giving you a couple of things to really think about around this topic of confidence and how your style can help you build confidence. And so I want to encourage you to go and take one confident action this week. And what is one confident action that you can take this week? It might be around planning in advance your outfits. It might be thinking about the word, what's thinking about in your mind, the word, the feeling that you want to create when you walk into that room. How do you want to feel in your clothing, and really letting that guide you to the clothing that you're choosing. Remove distractions, you know, really have a think about, am I choosing clothes that distract me versus support me during those high stakes meetings? So one confident action you can take this week. That is what I would really, really encourage you to do. And if this session today has made you realize that you are leaving your confidence to chance, or you're not giving yourself the best opportunity to use style in the most powerful way that you can, and you would like to build that more, you know, intentional system around how you show up, send me a message, send me a direct message on LinkedIn and mention this live, and let's have a conversation. So I hope that I hope it's been a good session today. Apologies, I came on a little bit late today with some tech issues, but I appreciate everyone who's been here. Thank you for the comments and the interactions. I'll be back again next week. I'm looking forward to seeing you all for another session next week. And hope you have a lovely evening. Michelle, for you, who I know you're in, it'll be evening where you are in that part of the world, and Anna, a lovely day to you, and wherever else all the rest of you are, lovely day, lovely evening, and I look forward to seeing you again for another session here live. Bye, everybody.